Washington Football Maniacs.
Well, it is official. Terry McLaurin's contract has been extended by the Washington Commanders. It is a 3-year deal worth up to $96 million. And we have a signing bonus for Terry McLaurin, $30 million signing bonus with at least half of that being guaranteed. That is about as far as I know in terms of all the details of the contract at this point. But of course, it was reported earlier that Terry McLaurin has finally been signed. John Keim, John Keim, not John Kim, but John Keim. I don't know why I always mispronounce John's last name. Sorry about that, John. But he reports earlier today the Commanders and wide receiver Terry McLaurin reached an agreement Monday on the 3-year contract extension worth up to $96 million that will end his hold-in and get him in uniform for the regular season opener against the New York Giants. Agents Buddy Baker and Tony Bongaria told ESPN's Adam Schefter. McLaurin receives a $30 million signing bonus in the deal, sources told ESPN. McLaurin and the Commanders front office had been at odds over his value since talks began earlier in the offseason. By getting the deal done now, the Commanders will retain their most consistent offensive player since he arrived as a 3rd-round draft pick in 2019. McLaurin, coming off of his 2nd Pro Bowl appearance, has surpassed 1,000 yards for 5 consecutive seasons. He had hoped that would result in a speedy extension, but that did not come. And McLaurin expressed deep frustration during a 30-minute interview conference July the 15th. He did not report to camp a week later and was fined for missing the first 4 days, a total of $200,000. He already had been fined over $104,000 for missing the mandatory 3-day minicamp in June. But after reporting, McLaurin was placed on the physically unable to perform list with an ankle injury the team said had occurred late in the season. He was able to participate in voluntary workouts in the spring before skipping the OTAs practice and minicamp. He was activated from the PUP list August the 16th. McLaurin requested a trade July 31st, but that was not something Washington even considered. According to multiple reports and league sources, the name most mentioned as a guide for McLaurin's desire was Pittsburgh Steelers receiver DK Metcalf. After trading for him this offseason, the Steelers gave Metcalf a 4-year deal worth $33 million per year with $60 million guaranteed. McLaurin's age was an issue for Washington, according to multiple sources. He will turn 31 when the extension begins, and age when receivers typically start to decline. The Commanders are a team that places strong emphasis on analytics. Among the top 24 active receivers with the most guaranteed money, only one, the Miami Dolphins' Tyreek Hill, was 30 or older upon signing. Washington also wanted to avoid a precedent of what it saw as overpaying to retain a player, according to team sources. Because it has several key players up for costly extensions or new deals next offseason, those include tackle Laramie Tunsil, linebacker Frankie Louvu, and potentially cornerback Marshawn Lattimore and receiver Deebo Samuel. By retaining McLaurin beyond the season, the Commanders give quarterback Jaden Daniels his favorite target when the season begins. The two players developed a strong rapport in camp last season, which carried into 2024 when McLaurin finished with 82 catches for 1,096 yards. His 13 touchdowns was one less than his tally over his previous 3 years combined. Daniels posted a total QBR of 90.6 out of 100 when targeting McLaurin. Of his 12 passes that gained 30 or more yards by wide outs, 6 went to McLaurin. So there you have it, folks. The Washington Commanders have re-signed or extended Terry McLaurin. And basically what I have to say about that is thank God it's over. Thank God it is over. Now we can concentrate on the season. I feel so much better about the Washington Commanders and their push for a Super Bowl. I was getting a little afraid. I was getting a little nervous that just maybe, this was going to leak into the season. Now, of course, this makes you kind of wonder, right? One thing you want to wonder about is, well, with all of this, was this all kind of an act? Did Adam Peters, because we know that Adam Peters just didn't decide today, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and give you this contract. It was reported by Adam Schefter earlier that the both sides were still miles apart. Even today, it was reported they're still miles apart. And then all of a sudden, a little bit later, deal's been reached. I find it hard to believe that the deal just got reached just right out of the blue. I feel like that this is something that they had kind of agreed upon a while back. And who knows, maybe, and this is just me just assuming, I'm not telling you that this is exactly what happened, but maybe, just maybe, the whole thing with Terry McLaurin, maybe they wanted to just rest him for this entire off season. They knew that they were going to extend him. They didn't want to see him hurt because obviously Terry McLaurin is going to be much needed in this season, especially Deebo Samuel and guys like that being paired with them. Noah Brown, suddenly he's extremely healthy and ready to go for the regular season. So it does kind of make you wonder. There was no talk about Terry being injured at the end of last season. And then all of a sudden, and no talk about him being injured at all up until mandatory training camp. And then all of a sudden, he has he's got an ankle injury. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go with that. But again, I am very happy that Terry McLaurin has reached a deal with the Commanders. 3 years, a deal worth up to $96 million. That comes out to be around $32 million per year. Doesn't mean that he's going to get all of that money. Okay. There's incentives involved and so forth. Not all of this is guaranteed money. Half of this sign-in bonus, which is $30 million, is guaranteed, but not all of it. So we don't know how much all of this is going to be guaranteed money. It may just be his sign-in bonuses are guaranteed, and that's it. But I feel like that it's a contract that is still a win for the Washington Commanders because as we learn more about the details, I would almost bet that there's probably some out clauses, possibly that last season. Of course, he's going to be turning 34 in that last year of that contract. Maybe there's some incentives to sign him to a 1-year extension after that. I don't know. I doubt you're going to see another 3-year contract after this one for Terry. If he hangs on with the team past that, probably 1-year deals. I'm imagining that's probably what's going to happen, 1-year deals here and there, but nothing that's going to be long term. But I'm happy that he is signed. I know there were a lot of people who were already made up their minds the best thing to do was to trade him. You are not going to trade him at this point. If you didn't already trade him at the beginning of the summer, you're not trading him now. And so I'm just happy it's a done deal. Now we can really start to focus on the upcoming season. So I can't wait to really talk more about the upcoming season and the matchup we're going to have against the New York Giants in a couple of weeks. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the Washington Football Maniacs. And when you do, of course, make sure that you turn on notifications so you won't miss any other video releases. Folks, hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one.